welcome to our podcast, Broker Banner Denver, where we are breaking down barriers to home ownership. I'm your host, Kim Davis, the real estate expert.
And I'm Patrick Williams, the mortgage guy. We're here to inform and educate about the home buying and financing process.
And on today's episode, we are going to talk about some new numbers that NAR came out with on July sales. And a breaking news, the Colorado Senate just passes some relief on property taxes, which is a big deal here.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, so we can talk about that later on.
I mean, can we do breaking news on a podcast when we record and then
true.
It releases?
It's breaking news today on this
when we're
Thursday,
recording, but by the time the podcast comes out,
it's not breaking
probably
news,
not
right?
breaking
Everyone
anymore.
will hopefully, maybe some people talk.
Maybe
some not.
still. Yeah, you never know. Well, what's up with Labor Day? You got any big plans for Labor Day? We're at the cusp of
summer being
summer.
done.
The unofficial end of summer is this weekend.
So I guess some states still don't start school until after Labor Day, right?
You know,
that's how it used to be when I was a kid. I grew up in Kansas until I moved here for high school.
I think there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, Memorial Day to Labor Day, right? That's summer to where it seems
that's summer.
And then we have like 50. My kids aren't in school anymore, as you know, and if people have been listening, but it seems like they have so many breaks throughout the school year now.
Yeah, we never had
especially
a fall break.
Douglas County.
We never. Okay.
I'm sorry, Douglas County is like.
But we also go back to school like August 8th.
I know, and you guys have so many breaks.
We do have a lot.
As a working parent, that is like.
It can be tough. It can be tough to figure out the childcare. Fall break to me, that's one that we could just get rid of. Like, just tack that on the end of the summer. Well, I mean, it's like October or something, but like, the middle of October, you get a week off in the middle of October.
See, Jeffco does kind of have a slight small break, but it's like a Friday and a Monday.
Right. No, we get the whole week off, and maybe even a Friday, and then you get Thanksgiving. You get the whole week off. I don't think I ever got a whole week off for Thanksgiving. I think maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, and that's it.
So I mean, it's just that they're like breaking it up throughout the school year instead of just having a big summer. I don't know what I agree, but you know what?
Bougie Douglas County people need to go on more vacations, and that's why the kids have more.
Those Douglas County people. I don't know. It seems like Jefferson County.
I like Douglas County.
Okay.
I'm on the cusp of Jeffco, right? Like
you are. You're almost there.
Well, yeah. Wadsworth kind of changes where Douglas and Jeffco starts, and we're at Ken Carroll. So
you're not too far away from Douglas
not too
County.
far away.
I went to my last back to school night last night.
Oh,
like it's been a crazy week.
Patrick has a senior in high school.
I have a senior in high school. My son's going back to college for his second year.
Yeah, did you just drop him off?
Junior year, I did. So it was kind of we drove down because he's taking a car down this year. So we drove, which I think I'll die a happy man if I never have to drive to Phoenix again. The thing that I hate about the drive to Phoenix is knowing that the flight is like as easy as pie. Like the flight from Phoenix or vice versa. It's you just as soon as you
hour.
Just as soon as you're kind of like, oh, I'm getting bored, or what should I do next? They're like, we're making our descent into Denver. You're like, all right.
Yes.
It's such a fast, easy flight.
Just to let you know that Denver to Vegas is only like a 2-hour flight. Sometimes they do a quick layover in Phoenix. That's how close it is. I would
never take a flight from Denver to Las Vegas with a layover in Phoenix.
I would agree, but I had a friend, we won't say the name here, that did that.
I have somebody that I'm very close with that would probably do something like that.
Yes. Oh, I know you would.
She likes 6 a.m. flights and things like that too.
Two layovers, well, it's save
$25 cheaper. Like, I don't care. You made me wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, we drove my son down. It's about a 12-hour drive. Went great. The drive went fine. I did have to relieve my wife early from her duties as a driver.
Why?
We're dropping down into the valley. That's when she takes over. And she's like doing 100 miles an hour. And it's not like my son has a brand new car. Yeah. I'm like, hey, like, let's not, you're scaring the bejesus out of me here. Like, why don't you pull over? I'll drive.
And she was like, fine?
Yeah, she let it go. I think she could see how anxious I was. I don't know. But that was coming off of like 4 or 5 hours of sitting shotgun with my son driving. I would rather have just driven the whole 12 hours myself.
Why didn't you just do that?
Because I was trying to be nice and let go of my issues,
Control
my control
issues.
issues that I have.
Some control issues.
Which, just so you know, as a mortgage professional, my control issues work for you.
That's
because
true.
I make sure that you get to the closing table no matter what. I'm gonna make sure.
Nice segue. It's
Yes.
true, actually. There
Yeah,
are
so
some times that, and I'll admit that if I get to choose, I would like more control over a situation. So I don't get a lot of choice.
Yeah.
I would tell you real estate is a lot of putting out fires,
It is.
and, some reactive things, but I would tell you most of the things that I deal with now being 22 years in, I've seen in the past. I don't see too many new things.
Every now and then you still run into something new that you're like,
Right.
haven't seen that before.
Well, speaking of new, I am running into new, with the August 17th. Today's the 29th. We're recording this on the 29th. So I have seen some of that new stuff kind of breaking in, like, hey, Kim, are you co-oping on your listing? Yes, we are. So those conversations are starting to happen. I just had a listing that I think they haven't signed the contract yet, but they interviewed multiple agents and they are deciding to go with me. And
of course they are.
Conversation, thanks. But conversation about commissions
And
more
buyer,
and how that works and that they're willing to pay a co-op, but they want them to negotiate for it. So then how do we handle that in contracts? We're putting in, the top that they're willing to pay but that they don't have to pay that if it's negotiated. So interesting. It's kind of an interesting.
It's a new era.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's great. It's great to talk about. I know there's a lot of agents that don't like to talk about it, but money is a big thing. And, buyers, sellers is just more understanding. And let's just hope that it keeps.
Yeah, I think the conversation is going to keep going, and we'll figure it out. I know some of the bigger periods of change for me on the mortgage side was like Frank Dodd after 2009, and then we had TRID.
Yes, TRID.
I remember when that was a big one. So it was just like.
Which honestly, is the TRID paperwork so much easier to read?
Easier?
That was the whole reason why they went to TRID, right?
No.
So that buyers and sellers could understand what they're getting into. I mean, right?
The one thing I will say
versus HUD ones.
I don't know that the CD or the initial disclosure, right, that goes out. I don't know that they're easier to read at all. I would still go back to the HUD one if I could.
Yeah.
However, I will say I do like that it has to be given out 3 days prior to closing. I think that is one thing that, people know what they're coming to the table with. They understand, and that was the biggest thing for us because, I remember there were closings where we were balancing
hours
to
before
the closing. Yes. Yeah. So
I would have clients sitting at the bank waiting
to get the number.
To get the number.
So
and
they could order
just
the
start
wire
saying, hey, wire more and you'll get a check.
Yep.
At closing.
Yep. We think it's going to be this, so put an extra little bit on it.
Some people still do that because, they're worried about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's always big changes in the industry. And you'll look back on it and be like, oh yeah, like we figured it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just in the middle of it in the first, few transactions.
Right.
That you
And
do
that's
with
where
it.
we're at right now with this whole real estate change. So it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
So, Labor Day.
Wait, just really quick. What did they change? Change is always hard, no matter what it is, right? Like, who really likes change?
Nobody likes change.
Yeah, but then sometimes it's better when you get to the other side of it.
Yeah, it's just the getting to the other side part.
It's like going from an Android to an iPhone. Or an iPhone to an Android.
This
Who does
is true.
That? Who does iPhone to an Android?
What I will say is that was not easy. And I don't know that I would do it again if I had to make the choice. Other than my blue text bubbles, everybody likes those.
What are you trying to say? That Apple users?
So you know what I was talking to my wife yesterday. We were
who has an Android?
We were getting on the flight. She's the only one in the whole
our whole friend group.
And everybody hates her for it, and she's digging her heels in. I don't think she's gonna.
No.
So
we have show you how old we are. We have a text string that happens daily on Wordle. Yes, we still do Wordle 500 days
I wish
in.
you wouldn't have mentioned it. No, I mean, yeah. So
I'm trying to see how long we've been doing Wordle. I've been doing it for a long time.
I have like 447 days, or I don't know. It's been a really long time.
I can't find it. That's
I think it was at least a couple of years.
It's at least a couple of years. Whenever it first started, I think we
Yeah.
were maybe a month behind that bandwagon or whatever.
So, but she's I think there's 9 or 11 people on that string.
Yeah, and
She's the only green bubble.
Only green bubble, and the only time it really causes issues is when people are starting to send like pictures from outside the Denver. Like if someone travels, it becomes an issue.
It becomes
if anyone
an
of
issue.
the Wordle group travels, it's like we start not getting text, or we're not getting pictures, or someone like is missing. Okay.
I asked her
Speaking of
if
change.
being able to FaceTime her kids when they're in school would be a good enough reason for her to get.
Yes.
And I think maybe that's a possibility.
Just
So
let you know, Paula, you can just use WhatsApp.
Why are you? I'm trying to get her to switch over. Do you want her? To
I
switch
want
over
her
or
to
not?
switch too, but I'm just
All
saying,
right.
the Facebook app too, the Messenger, you can do it on there too.
Because high school kids are on Facebook.
You know what? That's true. Good point.
Thank you.
Good point.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
So-
yeah.
So any end of summer
Okay.
festivities, we never really got there.
Sorry, we didn't. I changed this up. No, my birthday is
Happy birthday.
Wednesday. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. 48.
29 again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm at, you know what? So on this listening appointment I just went to, I do, being Asian, I am lucky. I do think I am definitely showing age these days, but I was like, oh yeah, I have a 20-year-old and 18-year-old. She's like, you are too young. I'm like, oh, I'm 47 because I'm still 47.
Yeah, you don't have
and,
to claim it
when
until-
you are meeting people, I usually don't have to have that conversation with people that, that kind of know me or, because they know the people are about the same
Sure.
age. But, now,
Hey,
like when I just don't, anyways, 48. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm happy if I get carded when they say they card for under
Me
40.
too. Hey, at the fireworks stand that I work, people thought I was 30, 35. I'll take that all day long.
Yeah. Well,
anyways,
I don't
no.
have that luxury of being Asian.
I do have something new that came up that we haven't
What?
talked about. So, we love to go to Mexico, right? We love a certain hotel, all inclusive. We go usually once or twice a year. Love it. And so they just built a new hotel.
Yes.
It's called the Taffer Group, or they have Villa del Palmars and Garza Blancas. Anyways, so they just opened up this new all-inclusive one. It's called Hotel Musai. They have one in Puerto Vallarta. They just opened up a new one in Cancun. So I try to talk all of our friends in going, but you have to do it before the end of September. So you know what I did is I went on there and booked it, and then decided, because things are getting busy, that we're going to cancel it. So I tried to cancel it yesterday. It's non-refundable, and the penalty for canceling is the full amount of the
So
reservation.
you lose all your money.
Yeah. So
Sounds like you're going to Mexico.
sounds like I'm going to Mexico. So that's new.
Yay,
Come
Mexico.
yesterday. Yay.
I know. My
So-
wife and I are trying to figure out what to do for our 20th. We're celebrating 20 years. Of
Congratulations.
marriage coming up soon. And so we're trying to figure something out. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually started looking at Hawaii.
So you know what? Hawaii is so expensive. I
Well,
love it.
if you
and
go
it's a
off
longer
season,
flight.
go off
I know it's a
season.
long, or just go to Mexico.
Or just go to
Cheaper
Mexico.
and all inclusive.
We haven't
It's great.
decided what we want to do. We haven't
Yeah.
decided if it's a relaxation trip or an adventure trip. We
Right.
have to kind of figure out what we're in the
It's funny.
mood
I
for.
don't remember what we did for our 20th. What do we celebrate? 22 this year. And you know what I did? I took my daughter to get her wisdom teeth pulled.
That sounds exciting. That sounds like a wonderful
Does
time.
that not sound like
Did she have any funniness? Like, it seems like any
Mm.
time you do videos, that's like a new thing, and everybody is like talking nonsense because they're still all hopped up from the drugs and stuff.
Okay, so my daughter actually just got her front tooth pulled because yesterday, right? So a month ago, or month and a half, she got her wisdom teeth pulled, but now her front tooth was failing because she had a trauma to it a long time ago. Anyway, so she was just on anesthesia yesterday, and she was pretty funny. She was like, she has no front tooth currently because she has a fake flipper tooth, they call it. But she saw a picture of herself, and she's like, you can tell she's still coming off anesthesia. She looks like she smoked like 5 bowls. And she's like, Mom, I'm popping. I'm hot.
with the missing front tooth.
She just kept saying it.
Looking
It was
good.
great.
Looking good.
So, but other than that, no
Okay.
plans. What about you?
I don't know. There's like a hot air balloon festival down in the Springs or something we might go check out. I don't know. We don't really have much plans.
Woo.
Yeah,
Great.
I know. May go to a farmer's market,
Okay.
Olive Garden if we get lucky.
Olive Garden. All right, moving
What are we
on.
talking about? What do we
are
wanna talk
talking about? So this just passed minutes ago. Today it'll be old news in a week, like you said.
No, I believe it's on the governor's desk.
Right. So the Colorado Senate just approved a property tax deal, sending the bill to the governor, right? Like you said.
Sending it. Yep. So they voted on it. It passed, and now it's on to the governor's desk.
Now let's not get too excited about it.
Well, what does that mean for me, the average Johnny homeowner? Like, am I going to be saving? Because my tax bill went up pretty significantly.
Yeah.
And between insurance and taxes,
right?
It just seems like the homeowner is getting hit from every angle.
They are. So let's just kind of talk about that. So if you guys watched probably about 10 podcasts ago, we had an insurance person in here who kind of explained some insurance to us, and insurance went up a lot because he says we're a catastrophe state.
Pretty significant,
yes, significant.
Between the hail and the fire, especially the Marshall fire up on the north side of town.
Right.
Yeah.
Really hurt insurance companies. They've paid out a lot of money in Colorado. And then, of course, we've had some major wildfires recently this summer in the Denver metro area.
Thankfully, there wasn't a lot of devastation as far as homes and things. They were able. The firefighters were amazing.
Yes,
and were able to get it under control really fast.
Yeah. So, but because of that, so then, as he said, insurance companies are trying to not get out of Colorado, but trying to make their premiums higher to not have to cover so much in Colorado.
Correct.
So I do have another insurance agent friend who told me that one big company, we won't say the name, but that they only allow him to write one homeowner's policy a month. Yeah. So anyways, insurance is high. And
insurance is high. Taxes went up. Because the end of the tax period that they went off of was June of 2022, which is the absolute highest and peak of the market.
Correct.
Here in Denver.
But not only that, Coloradans as voters voted in a new, so this is why it's so important that you pay attention to what you vote. If you don't know what it is, don't vote.
Yeah, you can leave it blank.
Yeah, leave it blank. Don't, because what happened is people voted, and so now the, what are they called? The
Tabor?
No, the assessor's office.
Yes.
Right? They can get closer to what actual purchase price is of the house, to where it had been kind of tapped down.
It was always less than what you could probably get for your home.
Right.
So for instance, in the ballpark,
it wasn't even like if you had let's just say medium and average in Colorado, 700,000, it would probably say 5 to where now it is pretty much what you could sell it for.
So or that law passed.
Yes.
So they bumped up from the lower amount of assessments to the higher. Plus we hit a peak in 2022.
Correct.
So now we're getting hit, on both sides.
Yes.
I know Douglas County, I want to knock Douglas County, but I got a check from Douglas County a couple weeks ago that was giving me a little bit of a break on my taxes.
Because I think what is happening is everyone's pushing back, right?
Yeah.
Coloradans are pushing back saying, hey, my taxes went from, $1,500 to $3,000.
Yeah.
Some
places they're doubling. Yeah. Most is right around 50%.
Right.
An increase of 50%. So if you're paying $2,000 a year, you're paying $3,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so why is that a big deal? Because in Colorado, most people, even though you don't have to, but most people escrow.
Yeah, and I recommend an escrow account.
I do
too. To come up with the $3,000 out of pocket when they come due, or $1,500 per, in February or May when they come due. That's tough. That can be tough to do. So pay it every 12th of each payment. They put it away for you. It can get a little messy with taxes increasing so much and insurance increasing, and now you have a shortage and all these different things. But I think it's still easier. But what kind of relief is the Denver Post saying that we're going to get from this?
Oh, are you ready? Drum roll. It's a whole $65 per household.
Wow. I could take my wife out to Arby's.
That's called food inflation. That's different.
Okay.
you could do maybe Olive Garden. No
Without
drinks.
the tip. Yeah, no drinks.
Yeah, no drinks.
Yeah, I have to come up with the tip out of my pocket.
In my 20s, I used to work at Outback Steakhouse. I don't know if you can do that for $65. But
They have the bloomin' onion.
I know.
Okay, sorry. Let's stay focused, Kim.
So,
$65. So
$65.
so what? I mean, that doesn't. I mean, I know there's a lot of households, and overall, that's probably a big relief. But that for the average homeowner, that's not much. Where is the majority of this going?
So it says the bill will cut property taxes by about $254 million statewide.
Okay.
So that's statewide. And it builds off an earlier $1.3 billion cut signed into law in May. That must have been part of your Douglas County.
Part of
right?
it, yeah.
So this is like
They were anticipating they were going to do something, but I think I also read that it's like a lot of it is going more towards like commercial. Like 62% of the cuts.
Let's see. It says here, I'm just going to read it right off. The estimate, the average homeowner will see a modest additional property tax decrease of $62 in the next year and about $179 in the 2026 tax year. So it is I think I got a sneeze.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm okay. So it sounds like
more
it's
next year. It'll go up. Yeah. Okay.
And 62% of the relief of the bill will go to non-residential property.
So more commercial, whatever, non-residential.
So
well, it's something. It's a start.
It's better than nothing.
That's right. I don't want to come off as non-appreciative of our state government.
It's one extra meal.
Yeah.
Out.
For the whole year. No, it does help. Every little thing helps.
Yep. Okay. I think that's all we really have to say about that. Other than, hey,
hold on. That's all I got to say about that.
Saw that coming. I just watched that recently.
That's my Forrest Gump. So we did also see some numbers come out from NAR, National Association of Realtors today. We went over some July numbers, I believe.
So this is more of a national, and it's interesting because as we keep saying, even in Denver, right?
Yeah.
There's more houses on the market than there have been in probably a decade.
Yeah. We're seeing this nationally too. Mm-hmm. So according to the National Association of Realtors, the pending home sales index went down 5.5%.
Yes.
Last month.
So they're saying that's based on signed contracts that fell. So someone went under contract, and then they got cold feet,
whatever,
or
inspection,
didn't appraise. 5.5% are falling out of contract. So last month to 70.2. So it fell 5.5% to 70.2.
So it's the index that went down. So this is the measure they use to grade the broader home market on a national level. So the reading now is 70.2, which is the lowest reading since the beginning of this actual survey. In 2001.
2001. Just for clarification, I got married in 2002, and I just said I'd been married 22 years, right?
So that's a long time.
Yeah, 23 years.
Yeah, so we are seeing the housing market soften, like we've said, but the pending home sales actually went down 8.5% year over year. So according to last July to this July, I have a theory.
Yeah. Well, that's weird. So it says here, the National Association, right, it says pending home sales index based on signed contracts fell 5.5, but then it's saying that pending home sales fell. So isn't that the same percentage, 5.5? But they're saying, but some people may have picked them up. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's
Which
true.
becomes a sale after a month or two would rise 0.4%.
So and what's confusing about the way this article is written is that it's the index.
Okay.
Right. So pending home sales plummet 8.5, I think, is the key to look at.
Yeah.
They were down year over year from July to July. Here's my theory on this number.
Tell me.
Well, rates are coming down, right?
Yes.
Like we're currently we're at 6.5. I would say we're probably at 6.375 today. We have core PCE come out tomorrow. That is the Fed's favorite inflation gauge because it strips out housing and fuel. So it's really like the core of inflation.
Right.
Food, the things that you're spending your money on. It strips out. And housing has been the biggest piece of inflation, rents and mortgage payments and such. So we'll see that tomorrow. But I think everybody's expecting as we go through the end of this year that rates are going to continue to come down. So my theory is that the people who maybe thought we're going to buy or started to think about it, said, you know what, why would we do that now?
Right.
Let's hold off for 2, 3, 4 months.
Exactly. And so, what this article also says, though, and we said that we were going to talk about this podcast, even though we'll probably do it next podcast, about, date the rate and buy the house. It says house prices remain elevated, though the pace has slowed, right? Which
Correct.
We've known that. But they said, as this agency reported on Tuesday, the house prices rose 5.1% year. What's with my accent? 5.1% year on year.
Yeah. So and that's kind of what we talk about typically.
Yeah.
I mean, is somewhere between a 3 to 6% is pretty typical. A lot of times I just use 4 because it's right in the middle.
Right.
But
what we're showing is a normal increase, right? We're back to that normal range of houses.
We're not seeing double-digit increases, which is just not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
No, but
especially in the Denver metro area. And I know that California has higher home prices in New York and stuff, but it's
we're
expensive.
a non-coastal city.
Yeah.
Denver is expensive. It's a great place to live.
It is.
It's still highly desirable. But we do want to touch base with that, and we're going to talk about it next week, is if I wait 6 months, if I wait 12 months, if I wait 24 months,
right.
Like what does that actually cost me?
Right.
So we're going to look at what it's going to cost you for down payment. We're going to look at what it's going to cost you, like your monthly payment wise,
what
and really kind of break down and not only in loss of equity, right? Because so we're talking about a house increasing in value 5% each
5%.
year. So you're not getting that 5% of gain. But you're also losing out on amortization, which is one of my favorite things. Oh. Right?
It is the best thing to read if you cannot sleep. Your amortization schedule.
So, but what that means, though, is 12 months from now, you will have made 12 mortgage payments, and the balance of your mortgage is now less than what it was. If you made 12 rent payments, you don't have a balance going anywhere.
Right.
Right? So not only are you building equity because the housing prices are going up, but you're also paying down that loan, and your balance of what you owe on that home goes down at the same time.
So I think next week's podcast is going to be great. And
we'll see if I can get my act together.
You were traveling. We're a little bit behind. Patrick was traveling, dropping off his son at college.
My apologies.
We didn't get the numbers, but we will have them next week.
We will. But I think on that note,
that's it. Yeah, we'll call it. We'll see you guys next week, right?
Yeah, next week. And if you found this podcast entertaining, maybe possibly informative, please give us a like, share us. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes.
Thanks.